Hey guys, this is Tarkin coming at you with another game of Dead by Daylight, or rather the second video I've done. Not important. So, Springtrap is out. That's the name of this guy from this game that's very famous called Five Nights at Freddy's that I've never played, but a whole ton of people have. But anyway, he came out, so we bought him. So there's this map showcase for Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, which is the new map, and we're going to go there, and we're going to get a queue because everybody wants to play Survivor, and, or rather everybody wants to play Killer. And so he's like an animatronic dude. He has a very complicated power, but we're just going to go ahead and get into the queue and then talk about it, right? We're running with his perks first of all, but first of all, we need to get our charm set up because I forgot. So by long tradition, we put like that charm there, and then this charm is there, and then where's the good bird? There we go. And then you get a good old bird. And that's basically my charm setup for the hooks, because you got to be stylish when you're when you're a killer. And so let's see here, what do we got? Fazbear's Fright. So here's the power. It's so many words, but we'll just talk about it briefly. So before all that though, so he is an animatronic rabbit, I guess. Looks like one. He's got a 4.4 move speed and a 24 terror radius, so slower than the average killer, smaller than the average killer's layout that you'll be looking for there. So here's his ability. He screams sometimes, by the way. That's like a thing that you're gonna have to get used to. So he's armed with a fire axe that he can throw at survivors. I'm like, wait, can I just? Yeah, I'll put the alternate music on while we're waiting in the queue, and then we won't have to hear the roaring of it. I'll surely remember to manage this. Anyway, I should have been doing this all along. We could have avoided the shrieking of the menu. But so you can throw the axe at survivors. If it hits a survivor, it becomes embedded in them, leaving them vulnerable, and they have to take the axe out before they can be healed. So it sounds like they would do a wound, and also they have to get the axe out of them. And then, so special map feature, security system. There's a teleporting system that it's built there, 7 around the map. They've got a camera attached to them. So survivors can look at the cameras, look through the different doors, and maybe see me and reveal my aura to everybody. But then they can go through the doors. But if they do it too much, the battery runs out. But I can just do it anyway, and it doesn't matter if it's out of battery power. And and if they're already looking through a camera and I jump through that door, then I'll grab them. And once I do it, I get undetectable for 20 seconds or until I get revealed, which is awesome. So it sounds like several of my favorite characters basically thrown together. So hopefully the queue won't be too long, but you never know. That is the unfortunate thing about we could talk about add-ons and stuff since I'm not clicked in the window, but I can still move around. All right, so we're doing this one. It's just going to give hemorrhage and mangle to the survivors, a good generic thing for a ranged weapon, right? And then this one is going to make us undetectable for longer, because I love undetectable stuff, and that'll make it 30 seconds of undetectable every time we go through a door, and we'll be able to pretty much do that. All right, so perks, help wanted. You damage the generator, it becomes compromised only one at a time. And if they finish it, then you get lower cooldowns for basic attacks for like a while, like almost a minute. And the other one is if they look at you, they scream and you see your aura. It's 70 seconds right now. I think we have one more level to go until it's the max level. No, that's the max one. They changed the colors. Hey, there we go. All right, we have gotten into a match. And I am excited. All right, we've got an Ace and a Michaela. Sable Ward, that's a newish one. I haven't played a lot in quite a while, so pretty pumped about this. Should be fun. Look forward to hey Evan. Yeah, we're playing the new Dead by Daylight character, the killers from Five Nights at Freddy's, named Springtrap. or in-game called the Animatronic. So in Dead by Daylight, all of the killers get like a name for the in-game thing. Dead by Daylight is an asymmetrical horror game where 4 characters play as the survivor. They're trying to get out, and one player plays as the killer. That's me, and I'm trying to chase them all down and put them on hooks and defeat them, get them sacrificed to what's called the entity. So there's generators that they want to fix. They have to run away from me. They can't really hurt me. There are pallets they can like drop on my head and stuff, but they can't really do anything to me. There's like flashlights they can put in my eyes to make me like drop somebody or get distracted, but functionally, yeah, asymmetrical, exactly. So I have the power and they sort of like that, yeah. Like there's 4 of them and 1 of me. I'm faster than they are, except in certain circumstances. There's like windows they can jump through. There's stuff they can knock down on my head. They can use certain skills and stuff to get away from me. I have to hit them twice to knock them on the ground, and then I have to pick them up and take them somewhere. So, all right, so let's go. The red auras on the screen, those are the generators. That's where we're trying to go. Now, I have my main weapon, a little stabbiness, and then I also have this axe, which they don't think I see them, but I do. Oh, they were not in there. Curses. Alright, so the axe is okay, it doesn't hurt them, but it does reveal them, kind of. Alright, so we see here, they got that pallet, they dropped it on my head. So I have to chase them. They're smarter than I am. They also, so they can see things in third person, and I can't. So they have much more visibility for everything that's going on. Oh, I missed them. They have much more visibility all around. These red scratch marks on the ground, when they move fast, those markers are there, and I'm able to see. These people are better than I am, and you can tell because I can't hit them. So some people right now are fixing the generators, and these people are distracting me from checking on them. When they fix enough generators, I'm going to be able to... Yeah, exactly. So these things I can just sort of... Alright, so here's my power. I can like go there and be like, alright, we're going to go to door number 1. And we just zoop right through it, and now we're right here. And so they might have known I was on the other side of the map, but now I'm right here, and now we got a shank in them. We're going to kick this real quick. If they finish it, we'll get our perk to proc, and one of those is that we have lower cooldowns. So when we hit somebody, they get a speed boost, and we get sort of staggered a little bit, and it takes us a little while to recover. Oh, the other thing I haven't mentioned yet. So normally, they get like a heartbeat thing. Almost had them. They can like feel a pounding in their ears whenever I'm around or getting closer. But it's disabled right now. I missed. It's disabled right now because I have this ability. But yeah, the axe throwing and the teleporting around the map, those are unique to this. But exactly, yeah. There's a move called Adrenaline Rush where they basically get even further away from you. But because you have to hit them twice to knock them down... You know, they have a good bit of leeway to escape you. So they'll like knock this on my head soon. Alright, they let me have that one probably. They can tell they're better than I am. Hello, Melissa. Yes, you did make it, yeah. So they're not just like a little better than me. Look, I'm super rusty. I've played like 600 hours of this game, but I only played like an hour the other day. And anyway, everyone likes to feel that they're doing well all the time anyway. So we're just gonna zoom in there. So because so my field of view is limited, and I'm in the first person, right? So sometimes when you get closer, they'll like dive right back at you and try to get in underneath your arms. This is a totem. Any totem that is blue, you have to kick because they did something cool. That's called a boon. So there's these 5 totems on the map. They normally don't do anything, but you or the survivors can take perks that activate in various ways, and then if they do it, it'll be blue and sort of glow with that nice sound, and if I do it, it'll be like crackly fire. I don't really know what that notification was for. Anyway, we're just gonna go through a door again and see if we can catch somebody. Alright, so somebody's aura is down there, it looks like. So, like, I don't know how I can leverage that, though. Anyway, we're gonna play several matches with this killer. I will get less rusty as we go, and if I keep on losing this bad, they'll just pair me with people that are worse before too long, right? Anyway, so yeah, this is the game. You just you walk around. So it has what are called licensed killers from absolutely tons of franchises. So you have this here, but so there's been some before since I left, but there was like I thought you can. I guess I can't go through that door. I'm not as bad as I look here, but I am like, you know, I used to be good. Not good, but fine. See, like that's more like how I normally used to play. Not Jason, but like the guy from Halloween, Michael Myers, like the guy from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Up you go.
So that area there, that's called the basement. It's like the best place to hook people, and if you want, you can like really like punish people by getting them hooked down there. But like, look, Dead by Daylight, you can either have fun or you can try to just win, and I think it's more fun to play, you know, sportsman-like. I'm really bad at this game. Anyway, if I was a better player, I would be meaner and I would have stayed in the basement to try to exploit it. They still haven't rescued him. I missed. It's like it's different than the Huntress Habits. There are multiple maps? Yes, there are tons of maps. I'm just playing this map today. Probably it's the one that just came out because it's like the Freddy's map, I guess, or the one that they did based on it. But there's tons of killers. So they have like, okay, so I got trailed off with the killers. So there's Resident Evil characters. Freddy Krueger's in it. Sadako from The Ring is in it. They have a whole bunch of original characters. So right there, what they thought is that I couldn't make that shot. But my favorite character is this chick called the Huntress, and she throws hatchets. Not everybody has a ranged attack. But, so, because I'm rusty, they just thought that I couldn't play, right? But actually, I do know how to throw hatchets, I just had to remember. And the mechanic's a little different. So at that point, the smart thing to do is to stay around the hook and try to defend the kill because they've already got the generators off and they'll be trying to get out. But it's more sportsman-like to, you know, go hunting, you know. We're working on a calculator like this. Cool, cool. Sadako, like the person who crawls out of the TV in The Ring. Exactly. We'll The guy from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's like, now that I'm warmed up, you're seeing that I am capable of getting hits. She's got the axe stuck in her. She's trying to get out. And now, so right now you could like pick her up and try to hook her, but we're gonna let her crawl out because, you know, they did a good run. And then we just nod, and, you know, they're sportsmanlike about it. So, like, that's a situation where, like, maybe we could have, you know, hooked them and made it work, but, you know, ultimately, especially at a situation like that. You know, and you just let them go. You know, you could hook them, but, like, after you get absolutely bodied for the whole match, I think it's, you know, just let them go, you know, it's whatever. How do I win? You win, so each of them, these hooks that you put them on, the first time they have to get rescued, the second time they have to get rescued, they have, like, skill checks to pass, or you know, they lose time, and then they get sacrificed, and that's how to do it, but yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and queue back up, but yeah. So the characters, we'll just briefly go down them. So the Trapper, he lays traps, he's original. The Wraith goes invisible. The Hillbilly has a chainsaw, he charges, he's original. The Nurse teleports, she's original. You got Mike Myers, everybody knows him and loves him. You have the Hag, she's original. She teleports around. I love her. The Doctor uses, like, electricity and makes the people scream and stuff. The Cannibal is Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The Huntress is my girl. The Huntress is my favorite killer. She's original. She throws hatchets. She sings a little weird song. You're gonna play some Girl Garden? Cool, yeah. But yeah, they have the chick from, they have Amanda from Saw. She puts the pig traps on people. You got Freddy Krueger. You have an evil clown. You got Ghostface from Scream. You got Pyramid Head from Silent Hill. You have Pinhead from Hellraiser. And yeah, and then also from Castlevania, you've got Chucky is in the game now, apparently. The Alien from Alien. Demogorgon, and yeah, and of course sometimes they scream at you. And Vecna from Stranger Things. Yeah, Saw was very cool, for sure. But we're gonna go ahead and put the regular music back on while we're waiting in the queue. I've been away for so long, so apparently you could do like 15 quests at a time or whatever. So Dead by Daylight is a live service game, so they have a large amount of hooks to try to keep you playing, right? You know, cosmetics that unlock over time, level ups, all the stuff that you're probably familiar with. But you know, there's been a number of changes to the UI since I last left. Demogorgon or the Xenomorph sounds so fun to play. Yeah, they I think they teleport around too, you know, like they crawl around underneath it. So we can scroll over here with the sound down. So one of my favorites is this original one here called Dredge. I'm like, no, it won't let me. Yeah, so Dredge, he like teleports to the lockers and has effects there. Sadako is another one of my favorites. The twins, they're super creepy. One of them is Charlotte, and she has like a sickle, and she just runs around. But then she can send her twin brother Victor, who's like a small little creepy guy, and he's like really fast, and he can like zoom around the map and leap at people and stuff. And they're awesome to play. But we're just gonna play the new killer today, probably, at least for several matches. Hey, IDK. But no, there's Charlotte. Charlotte's the name of the girl, the teenage girl here that walks around with the twins. They're French. The twins are. I don't think she just like makes like angry sounds mainly. Most of the killers don't say words. Some of them do. Like the trickster is like a K-pop or J-pop. I think it's K-pop, where what his lore is, but he like hits people with baseball bats and throws ninja stars at people and stuff. But hey, we got sorted. Yeah, so Trevor Belmont's in the game now. You say the Roblox game Forsaken is just DBD, but with Roblox hackers instead of ghosts. Cool. Yeah, this game I played it a whole lot a few years ago. I just played like an hour the other week, but it used to be like basically the only game that I played for a bit. You said you had a person who's named Charlotte who I said stop. I see. Well, no, that's not the Charlotte in this game, but that's funny. But yeah, but there's a lot of complexity to the game, which we'll get into when I start performing slightly better. So like if I wasn't missing those hatchet throws, things would have been way different. If I had been taking advantage of moving through the doors more often, you know, there's a lot of stuff because I was just basically sort of getting my bearings, looking around. And so also some people want to be chased. In an event like this with the new killer, you sort of want to chase them, you know, because it's for the spirit of the thing, right? But if you're playing killer and you're like, you know, you're trying to do good and stuff, a lot of times you want to ignore the person who's running in front of you because that's probably the best player on the team, or they're really bad. You got to figure it out quick. Because if they want you to chase them, then maybe you don't need to, especially if they're around like a really big central structure. But I really like, yeah, Amanda, the Saw killer. So she can crouch so they can't hear her terror radius, and then she can also put the reverse bear trap on people, and then they have to go and get that taken care of. But all right, we are just going to get to it. We're going to jump in this door and go to the far side of the map. So typically they will be spawned pretty far away from you. So we're just going to go, oh, did I just cancel? I just canceled it. Feels bad. Anyway, I was supposed to hit control, and I hit space. Well, you know, we're not going to go to that one anymore. So a lot of the times, the main buildings, like I kept chasing those people around in the earlier one, they are traps, by which I mean they are bad ideas. Oh, yeah, still got it. They're going to jump through, and we got it. Yeah, ha-ha, that is how it's done. She's going to run this way. She tried to double back. We tried to double back. She got bonked. So if they catch me with a survivor on my back like that on top of a crate, then they can knock it on my head. Where's a hook? Oh, God. Okay, there's one right here. If you carry them too long, they can get off your back if you get lost without a hook. Sorry, they scream whenever you put them onto a hook.
Will end soon.
We're going to go ahead and kick this generator. So you see, like, also, so running in the main building is especially bad for this character because there's a lot of doors and walls and places for them to be sneaky. And we throw axes. And when you have a ranged weapon, not all killers do, most of them don't. It's the very rare killer that has a ranged weapon, especially, like, one that goes far away from you. Because you can swing and lunge, but... Alright. We're gonna zoop over here. Oh yeah. Awesome hit. Clean and elegant. She's gonna try to get here and drop that on me. Yep. We're gonna need to, okay, yeah, she didn't need a delay there, because now she got greedy and we got the hit. So what she wanted to do was hit me with another crate, right? Boom. And there's the hit. Very nice. You can see it sparking, which means they haven't repaired it since the last time I kicked it. And we know they're over right there because that's where we unhooked them from, and now we can teleport right over there. So if they're going to be over here, you know, trying to heal, because people will do that, then we're going to be right on their tails again. Here we go. And that's exactly what we got, and now... Haha, yes! Got him! Literally, the points for grabbing them was got him. That's pretty funny. They're hiding around this wall, aren't they? Oh, they're on the ground here. Whoops. I didn't mean to leave them for so long. You know, that's how good of a job we're doing. So this is more like what a game looks like when you're doing well and then they scream. You know, it's not ideal. But that's the thing about the sound balance, is it serves an important function internally for balance, because as the killer, you're relying a lot on the sound of birds. You know, they don't always scream and get revealed. Missed. Alas. We're on the tail, though. Oh, he's already injured. He's going to try to go here. Terrible. Well, you know. A bit of wasted time. Is the basement here? No, the basement is far. We're just going to go to this hook then. And then throw him up there.
Insolent whelp.
This is almost finished. There's probably someone right around here. They're not going to want to leave it. When someone works on a gin for a long time, they get attached to it, right? But that doesn't mean they're still here. It just means I wish they were. We're going to go ahead and go into our door of spying. So being able to teleport around is the single best thing, because as you see, you know, now I've got map presence all around. I know what generators are what. If that would have hit, I would have been a better player. So she's trying to get me away from this so that they can fix it. That means somebody else is still here. Probably back here? Nope. Wrong. That's okay. So we might have put them off their appetite there. We're going to go just right here. Yeah, so she got healed. So if you know the direction they're running in, too, it's not so difficult to figure out where they might be going. And then to throw an awesome max right into them. No dice. Got him. I knew that she would not be able to get away there. She was trying to make the loop here to this crate. Is this our final hook on thing, men? I think so. Yep, there we go. Alright, so that's what happens when you hook somebody 3 times. And of course, the earlier you do that, the better chance you have of affecting a great victory. So the first thing you want to do basically whenever you do that is go to the furthest side of the map from where you were, because this is a place where they felt safe. Boom. Almost. Means they'll be doing things like healing, and they'll also be doing things like mass working on a generator. This teleporting is really just the best ability. Close, but not so close. So she's going this way. We're going to be able to hit her with an axe right now. Boom, baby. So that's actually a harder shot than it looks if you haven't played the game. So the hitbox of a projectile with those crates, you got to sort of like look a little bit over it. It's tricky. Like I said, like my favorite killer throws axes. The physics on this is slightly different, but I can already sort of feel it. There we go. So they might be giving up. So sometimes you'll get a person who just sort of gives up like that, you know. Either they think it's hopeless, or their friend already got eliminated, or whatever, you know. Because, like, I thought maybe they thought I was camping the hook or whatever, so I gave them a little bit of grace, but that was close, but not hit their foot. There we go, and then we get another down here. Did I win? No, not yet. I did eliminate 2 of them, and they still have 2 generators to go. And I think, yeah, so boom. So now we have a choice. Do we go hunting for the guy, or do we stick around here to try to defend the kill? I believe in sportsmanship. Haha, there we go. So all we got to do is get him down now. So now he has a choice to make. He can try to rescue his friend, but if he does that, they still have to try to open everything. A good person will always try to rescue their friend, of course. And it looks like he is going for it. If not, they'll let them die. Try to make distance between you. When there's only one survivor left, a hatch opens that allows them to potentially escape. Ah! The axe did not fly nearly as far as I thought it might. It doesn't... So Huntress projectiles are like super long range. So he is leading me on a merry chase, but... And so right there, you know, that's just for respect, right? He could have left them behind, and he's actually given me some respect too by staying there and waiting for me. That's you know, there's a complex sort of interplay that, and I got lost. All right, so there's a complex sort of like interplay of survivor and killer behaviors, at least that are perceived, right? Of things like that, you know, of like giving them just a little bit of space rather than going for the hits if they're trying to rescue one another, especially in situations like that when they might have been able to get away, right? Because with one door left on the map, it's considerably more difficult. One generator for them to get out. Like there were 2 before then. Which was, you know, like, so they have to, you know, they have to cure each other. They have to get off of the hook. They have to figure out if I'm going to be camping the hook or not, because they don't want to expose themselves to danger. They're right around the side here. I know they are. I hear them. I should have thrown it. I hit the wrong button. The buttons for Huntress work differently. Oh, man, that was so close. Oh, man. Rough. So, for Huntress, whenever you let go of the button, it doesn't, you know, it gets rid of it. So, basically, this guy needs me to chase him and not hit him for the whole duration of his teammate getting a generator fixed. Which is difficult. We got this one, and that'll be 11 hits there. And now Thalita will be the last one remaining. So what we need, you know, so we need to find her so we can get this Adept perk, you know. There's a thing on the map called the hatch. It opened up right now. And if she can find it first, she'll be able to slip out, not through the door, and just get away alive. And then But now I'm on her trail. No, I went the wrong way. I had her scratch marks. Is she right here? Yes. Alright, there we go.
Do you feel that?
Alright, so now all we have to do is find a hook, and there is our Adept achievement. The most important achievement in the game is when you use only the 3 killer perks and hang up your foes so that you reign victorious. And the spider absorbs their essences. There's a lot of it's like a reincarnating realm of suffering, where the torment being visited is pleasing to the entity that brings us all here. And there's our Adept victory. Merciless victory, using only our 3 unique perks. There's settings in the game to not have the enemy names on, which is good if you're going to put it on the internet, I think. That way you don't have to worry about, people being rude to them. But yeah, so you can go here and see. So one person here is very experienced, and the other ones, it looks like, at least with those characters, that 65 is it's called a prestige level. And it's just like any other game if you're familiar with prestige leveling, so it would just be... Alright, and we're just going to see if we can throw some more quests on, because you can put 15 quests on at a time, which is very silly. But it won't automatically put them on for you. But you can have 15 at a time apparently, so yeah. Maybe they all track automatically. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know. But anyway, yeah, so I win. So now, now that we've done those perks, we can set up some perks that are better, and a 4th one. We're going to go ahead and get into the queue. I'm like, do I have any builds that are fun from the past? So there's a lot of cool stuff in the game that sort of lets things play differently. But we're just going to go to the 4th slot right now, and I'm going to find my favorite perk, which is called, oh man, what's it called? No. You kick it's from the night. Can I search for the night and get it? Oh yeah, I can. It is called Nowhere to Hide. I spelled it with a K-N. Hilarious. So now when you kick a generator, if they're anywhere around, you'll be able to see them. This haywire thing makes the gates not open that much. We're going to replace it with my favorite thing, Lethal Pursuer. So now whenever their auras get revealed, they'll be revealed for longer. This scream thing is totally fine. I like that. We're going to keep on doing it. This help wanted, we're going to replace with something fun. So some perks that are really cool. That make things very different. But yeah, here we go. Hysteria, that's a fun one. So now, whenever I injure any of them, all the other ones aren't going to be able to hear me for 40 seconds. And it goes on, only once every 20 seconds. But, so that'll be this one now. All the stuff that we do, they're not going to be able to tell that we're around, and then we're just going to sneak up on them and throw hatchets. And that'll be the plan now that we got our Adept perk taken care of. So, good news. That was fun. It still is fun. We're still playing maps. I might actually, let's... we're already in the queue for a bit. We'll probably play one more here, and then we'll just go into the regular queue and get more variety of maps. Because this map is, fine, but, look, you're bad if you fight in a main building. A main building is a trap for new killers who want to not win games. Not like I'm good. I won that game, not because I'm good. The second person gave up, and that's a dramatically different effect on the team. You say you got an idea, Evan? What's up? All right, we are in the queue. All right, let's go.
Prepare to suffer.
Indeed. All right, so this time we're actually going to go through security door immediately, because that's what a smart person would do. And we're going to go to the furthest one. So now with the kick, I can see with the aura reveal, she does not know I have that, so I'm able to get just so much information, right? Close. Not that close. She thought she was underneath my vision again. Either that, or they're very good. And they assume that this is advantageous to them. Yeah, they're very good. So the flashlight is like a really funny taunt there, because you already lose almost all of the time to kick the pallet, which you're gonna do anyway. But she doesn't know that I have a lot of experience playing Huntress.
You will see.
Alright, so Five Nights at Freddy's is like a Chuck E. Cheese type of thing. Got it. Hey, this leaving a ball pit. Very nice. I know it's a super famous franchise, I just never played it. Haha, yeah! They were trying to escape by going through my territory, but I snuck right in and grabbed them. Clean. And they ran into a, not a dead end, but they thought it was. And there, because we knew to look away from that person, we were able to avoid getting flashlighted. If they flashlight you when you have someone on your back, you drop them, which, you know, if that happens and they get away, then like losing a hook to a flashlight save is a huge deal. it can basically be like a make or break on your game. I thought I saw someone here. I really did. The game, you play it for just a little bit, and like light and shadows start playing tricks with you. So leaving the person on the ground, they can heal them and get them up. It's bad form to leave them for like a super long time or to defend them while they're on the ground. But we were kind of hoping that somebody would heal them. And then they had an ability called Decisive Strike that makes them stab you, basically. But, you know, I think this is the... Is this, like, the final hook on them, maybe? No, it's just the second one. I'm like, I thought Decisive Strike was, yeah, the second one. There we go. Sometimes you just gotta sit still for a second and like see if you can hear anyone. I don't really have a cooldown for moving through the doors. Excellent. I actually love this killer. I mean, like, the gameplay, because he's slow, right? It's not like, you know, the coolest it could be, but and they're only like 5% slower, I think it is, something like that. They do like 4.4 instead of 4.6, but it's a pretty big difference. Got her. Oh, it's like a much... Yeah, it doesn't go that far. A Hunter's Axe will go like all the way across the map. Of course, there's nowhere to hide. You know that they're not very close to the gen when you kick it, which is the most important thing. Like, if you don't have to spend any time at all figuring out if they're there. Now, you won't reveal their aura if they're in a locker, but most people won't go in a locker, not for very long. It's tricky. Oh, they when you do the generator on the inside, all the stuff starts whirring again. That makes sense. And she tried to get away from us. Evan, you say we should do a Roblox stream with yours. I don't know, man. I've never done a video with yours before, and I don't know if that's really something that I'm gonna do. Because while it does sound like it would be fun, it just opens up like a bunch of other worries that are apparent to me, even if they're not apparent to everyone. But playing with people anonymously is fine. But like, I don't know. Oh, they got an animatronic band. Very cool. Alright, so right here we have 3 generators, all right next to each other, that haven't been worked on at all, which are like, if we were trying to like aggressively defend, haha, yeah, they were trying to sneak around the map. Never should have come here. Alright, where's the hook? Because that's the thing about being able to grab people. If you grab people, you grab them through any health state. You know, you just get a hold of them. So that could take even a person like that who might have been relatively careful, and then now their game is done. And there, since we used the ranged weapon first, we didn't have the cooldown to running, right? Or rather, yeah, that's what I meant. The cooldown to running. So because of that, so we hit them with the ranged attack. They still got the speed boost, but if you hit them with a melee attack, right, you have to slow down. You get staggered. You look down at your blade and stuff. Almost got him. And then they style on me. And we're gonna go down to the basement to sack them.
Farewell.
Alright, they are around here somewhere. They are working on this. They're hiding right there, so they will try to hide far away. This person's smart, but they... They didn't know that I had aura reveal in the first place or in the second place, right? So now we're just trying to chase them down. They might find hatch, they might not. There's not a lot of a room for them to go here, right? There we go. And another 4 kill. Feels good. Of course, our perks are a lot better now that we... look, Lethal Pursuer is awesome because it adds 2 seconds of aura reveal to all the stuff that ever reveals an aura, in addition to showing them at the very beginning. And it's just a... this is sort of like my preferred stealthy build. Anytime you hit them, unless you say the binary multiplier is going to start causing you some problems. I'm sorry that your Minecraft calculator is causing you stress I know how it can be to get stuck on a project. Although I haven't built stuff like that in Minecraft. We are a merciless killer again. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and play like a normal map. It'll be a random map. The reason for this is very simple. You know, we've been on that map enough, and you know, we'll be able to show off some of the other stuff that, you know, is going on. Does it automatically do all of the quests that we're applicable for? I sure hope so. And then they have all these unlockable things, and of course there's a free and a premium tier, but we're not going into that because anything that has what I consider to be not ideal monetization practices, while I might play the game, I'm not gonna engage in talking about the monetization of the game, you know, unless I'm like doing a review. I'm certainly not gonna be like, here's what you get if you buy, you know. It's whatever. Alright, so we're about to run out of this ripped curtain that gives them just like some generic mangled and hemorrhaged stuff, so we're gonna... No, he doesn't need to yell. Okay, this will be nice. So if we have the axe in them, if they do something like jump through a window quickly, then we'll get aura reveal. And if they take the axe out, then we'll get aura reveal. And since we have lengthening aura reveal, that should let us know where they're at. And this is sort of like, so there's different ways to play the killer, right? Not just like the sportsman, unsportsmanlike axis, but like conceptually. You can play a bunch of what we would call slowdown perks. So stuff that is going to reduce the generator speed, that's going to make it harder for them to complete generators. You could run stuff called Scourge Hooks that give some of the hooks special powers. You can run curses on totems. These aren't very good usually. They give you some special powers depending on what's going on. You could run things that make it harder for them to get away from you, that make it easier for you to track them, or that make them harder for them to track you. Those are my favorite kind. I like the ones that remove their information, you know, and that give me information. Because if I go to a place and kick a generator, and they're like, you know, 20 meters away, I'm probably not going to be able to find them. But if I just kick it, and then their aura lights up, now I have a chase. They're not going to get away with it. If they get away from me, it's because they're better, you know, but they're not going to just, like, be able to prey on me not being very perceptive. But there's, even within, like, a somewhat competitive, like, philosophy, if you're just, like, really trying to go for it, there's still a few different ways to play killer. And in Survivor as well, because there's different like archetypes in Survivor. You have, you know, runners, you have the people that will take perks that make them better at escaping, people that take toolboxes that let them fix stuff faster, or so they can disable hooks with a toolbox, right? So if I pick someone up and I'm trying to hook them, if they have a toolbox, they can, or a perk, they could run up and like ruin the hook and they just like knock it down, and then I won't be able to use it, right? And if they're, you know, if they're on top of it enough, then they might be able to just not get hooked there. And you can hit somebody any amount of times. It's the hooks or like time left on the ground, but usually just the hooks that will be what will let you get your kills. All right. And we have got a place to go. If it makes me go to the Freddy's Pizza place, even though I took away the map showcase, well then, you know, whatever. It is what it is. But there are lots of different maps in the game, some of which are bright, some of which take place in weird little deserty places. There's a cornfield. You know, you got the Raccoon City Police Department. You've got like a little suburbs place from Halloween and from Nightmare on Elm Street sort of thing. There's a lot of really, really cool areas, and then there's some that are just sort of, an area. But we'll see which one we get here. All right, this is a map called Coal Tower. This is one of the original maps of the game where the Trapper is from. So there's it's like a coal mining thing, so it takes place above ground here. So you see how it's like a good bit more open in a lot of ways. We got an aura there and there and there, so we're gonna go to these two right here. You can still walk whenever you're blinded. And because I sort of know like how the layout of a place works, we're able to still maintain a little bit of I leaned, it wasn't to be. Boom, got him. So what they were trying to do is called looping, right? They're also trying to blind me. But a loop is when you take a killer around in a set of areas over and over again because you're better than they are. I thought, so you can still throw an axe whenever you're blinded from a flashlight, so I thought we would be able to do that. So this person's like dramatically better than me, right? That's why they're the one doing this. If they bring a flashlight, they're better than you. There, she didn't know if I had my axe or not. So while we're doing this, their team is just like straight winning the game, right? Which is fine. So right there, again, it is not automatic to make that shot over the crate. Not to compliment myself too much. It's not super hard, but it's not automatic. And if you don't have like experience with throwing hatchets in Dead by Daylight, you probably won't get it. So it always feels good whenever I hit it. I definitely went through a lot of time where I would just like essentially practice it in matches. I would set myself up in loops so that they would drop pallets and I would be able to practice throwing hatchets over them. Because you need to move over to the side and like sort of look over the top a little bit. Clean. They're gonna have to take the hit. Yeah, I was like, I thought they were gonna back up and try to double back on me because there was nowhere to go. So a lot of areas like that, you see they've got these wide open spaces. Now that newer map didn't have so many of them, which is like, you know, a newer map will often not have the same problems that an older one would necessarily. So this character still wants some, I think. Even though they're injured, they're confident. And right there, that's super funny, right? So they speed vault right in front of where I am waiting to throw a hatchet. But because I am an experienced and practiced player, I'm like, hey, what if I do the thing? What if I Because a lot of it is mind games, right? Like, you got to figure out what you think they're going to try to do. Because if you turn the corner in some unwise way, you're just not going to find them, right? But if you sit still for a second, if you say, where are they logically going to go from here? And then you throw an axe beautifully right into their noggin.
Go on. Scream.
We're going to zoom to the other side of the map. I love teleporting, because it would take like a long time to get here, right? But we're already here. And because again, when we go through, we're undetectable. So they have a heartbeat that pounds in their ears when we're around, but they can't hear it when we go through. So they had no idea we were there. Zero. They could not see that we were there, and there was nothing to tell them that we were there. And it feels so good. And right now, she is staring at me and trying to lead me on a merry chase, but like, she doesn't know how much closer I am to my potential than I used to be. Got her. Oh yeah, still got it. So like I said, I used to play this game a lot, and my preferred character, as I keep saying, was Huntress, who is a 4.4 movement speed killer who throws hatchets. So get some, Kate. Get wrecked. Never should have come here. Because she was good, right? But she kept on picking fights.
Exquisite.
Like, is one of them right behind me? Is one of them hanging out, like, in... Yes, they are. So these places can be like the coolest to hook them here on the roof, and then they you know, they rather heroically try to save their friend, and do. But I'm gonna honor the sacrifice, right? I'm gonna honor the sacrifice by hooking them and seeing if their friend will try to save them, or let them die and save themselves. Oh, the axe was too heavy. Respect. Like, they better run now. Got my axe back. They're both here, which is a very unwise situation to be in, right? So if they're both in the shack... Exactly. If they're both in the shack, I think she's trying to do this thing where you like bonk... You can bonk them in the head with a locker if they walk in front of them. So why are the survivors here in the first place, and why are the killers here? They basically... So this is like an alternate reality... like a void where the entity has placed them to try to suffer, essentially. So this is like, it's not the real world, and they get reincarnated, right? So no matter how good they do or how bad they do or how much suffering there is, they always have to come back and suffer some more. And I don't know if we know why, the cosmology of the place, you know? That was a good shot, and I am proud of it. Again, none of this is like upper level play, but that's not an automatic hit to get them going through the corner of the window like that. But yeah, so that's what's going on. Basically, if you go to the bios of all of the characters, they're just like living their normal lives, and then they're like, and then suddenly there was a shadowy fog. Sometimes it happens like in the moments, like when the character would be dying. You know, like, oh, you know, in the final moments of life, they were carried away by a fog. And then here, so that sound, that is the hatch. That is a way they can disappear without the doors being opened. It is right here, and I, because I am cruel, am going to kick it. Now they'll be able to open the doors, but they'll have to, like, do the whole process of opening them. With the hatch, they can just slip right in. And of course, since I have doors to traverse the map with, although not in a great spot, so it takes a little while to open a door. And if they're not around one, they wouldn't have been able to start. So what I'm going to do now is take advantage of these. So if I go over to this way, this is the direction that I wasn't in that triangulates with this door, right? In between the two of them. And we'll be able to see, oh, and she opened the other one while I was away. Fair play to her. But yeah, but that's what's going on. And that's why, like, the guy from Halloween and the guy from Nightmare on Elm Street and every other guy can coexist all in the same place, is because it exists in, like, a sort of, you know, a fourth dimension, you know, an extra dimensional space from where we are. Then they have these things, so all of these, so just like these are the tomes, and each of these has multiple pages that you see these blue check marks for, and I've taken the path down for some. Then you get a gold one if you get every single thing on all of them. So that's what I would spend my time doing back in the day, and you get, you know, points in charms and whatever. So, you know, we got almost all of the pages for a bunch of the early ones, and then right here around 15 was where I stopped. So right now, you know, I just have to, there we go, we chase the survivors. So now, we'll go to this one, and so you can have something you can earn as either character, and you can take whatever path you want to get to the end, and then you get the completion, but then you also get bonus points to spend on, like, the internal level up currency. Alright, let's do a different loadout this time. This can be loadout 1, loadout 2, same. Awesome stuff there, but okay, so for these perks, we'll do an obsession one. So obsession perks, this is not like a meta thing to do. But you can take these various things and they will increase the power that you get. And now, here we go. Boom. So Furtive Chase is going to swap the obsession around. Dying Light is going to, like, make the other ones worse at stuff. No, do we want to use that one? No, we'll take Devotion, because this will be a... Whoops, yeah. You gotta have Rancor. Yeah, Nemesis, that's right, yeah. Nemesis, play with your food. Furtive Chase, and Rancor. So how this is going to interact. The Obsession will change around. At the start of a map, you have the Obsession, right? So now, okay, you... when we have them on the hook, we'll get undetectable and run faster. And when somebody else gets them off of the hook, they'll become the Obsession. Nemesis will make anybody who blinds me or hits me with a pallet the Obsession, and whenever they become the Obsession, they're not going to be able to hear me, and I'll see their aura and stuff. Rancor is going to show them my aura when they fix the generator. It's going to show me their aura when they fix the generator. And then, when the exit gates are powered, it will give them the exposed status effect, and I can kill them. What that means is, normally you can do a thing that'll give you like a special move, and you'll like, oh, I wasn't even in the queue. This is agonizing. How terrible. What a bad day. No, so they'll, if they're exposed, even if they have full health, if I hit them with a basic attack, they'll fall down on the ground instantly. And I'll be able to immediately, like, execute them. But because this is, like, rather than, like, having it as a specific person that we're stacking on, the person that happens to be the person that's the obsession will depend on who was hooked, who got them off of the hooks, you know, and who hit me with stuff. And this is one of my favorite ways to play any killer at all, because it's very dynamic. Also, they do not know, unless they're very savvy to the game, that Rancor is going on. And they're not going to be the obsession the whole match. So sometimes they'll fix the last generator while you're chasing somebody. And that person's the obsession. And then you can immediately down them and murk them. And they won't have known at all that that's what's going on. And now time for music while we're in the queue. But that's Dead by Daylight. And there's a ton of killers with tons of different powers. I'm just playing this one right now today because they just got released. But generally I'll play like a wide range of them in any given play session. Or I'll just do, some of one, some of another. They're very dynamic. Some of them play vastly different. Like, one guy goes invisible and runs super fast. There's various killers with teleportation powers. There's various ranged powers of various qualities. Huntress, my favorite killer, unless Sadako, can throw a hatchet across a whole map. And I've got some straight MLG level snipes with her before. Nemesis from Resident Evil can like thwack people with the tentacle, so he's got like a very short medium range attack, but it can also break pallets and doors and stuff faster. And he like spawns zombies around the map that can hit people, and he puts like alternate secondary status effects on people and stuff. And there's just a whole lot of different cool stuff. The Knight is a cool killer. He uses his ability and he shoots like shadowy dudes out to follow him. Wesker can dash, and he also has like an infection mechanic. The Blight dashes around super fast. He's really hard to use. Deathslinger's super cool. He's like an evil guy, but instead of with a gun from the Old West, he has like a harpoon gun, and so you can shoot a survivor with it and then reel them in if they're close enough, and then like get a hit or a down or whatever. The Oni, who when they bleed, you get blood orbs, and then you can like go into rage mode and go all around. Ghostface from Scream, he stalks people and stuff does better. One of my favorite killers, the Plague. She makes a bunch of throwing up sounds which aren't excellent, but basically she like spews poisonous bile at people and either infects them, or if they try to cleanse the infection, you get like a machine gun, and if you hit them with it, then they take wounds, which is awesome. But we have got into a match. Excellent. So we're gonna do a little bit of obsession twirling, and maybe we'll get an execution. Like, actually, I think he like roars right at the very beginning, so we'll just stay out of there. And again, if I had my preference, I would decrease a lot of the in-game sound. But again, you can do that, but you can't decrease the music or the rustling of the grass or the cawing of the crows. So it's like you have to have the same balance between character screams and the breaking of pallets, and in any other sound in the game, they have to be in the same balance. You can't control that, right? Which is a game balance issue, because the ability to hear like a twig break is absolutely central to playing killer. Like you'll be sitting there, you'll be like, wait, did I hear it? And then you'll turn around and they're right there. At least if you're me, you can hear it. Being able to see that something's very slightly wrong is a talent of mine, and one that comes in very handy in Dead by Daylight. Let's see what map we get. Yeah, and also, yeah, if they're injured, you can also hear them like panting. If they're being healed, you can hear like some of the things. Any action they do has a sound assigned to it. All right, so we're here in the Forgotten Ruins of the decimated Borgo. I hate Borgo. So Borgo is like this sort of never mind. I've never been here before in my life. Borgo is a place. Yikes! That is chilling. So Borgo is a place that the knight is from, but it's also like an overall surrounding place. So I guess this is an internal place. I've never been here before. Okay, never mind. This is the main building, and we've got the exterior. The exterior of Borgo, as I'm familiar with it, doesn't have that. It has a different main building, but it also has a lot more red than I'm seeing here. So maybe they've changed some of the color balance since the bad old days of Borgo. Oh yeah, Laura Croft is in the game. I mean, she's fine. My girl is Claire from Resident Evil. That's the one I care about. And like I say every time, that is not as easy as it looks. You gotta move right. You have to know that they're gonna drop it, and then you gotta move in the right direction. But it is very satisfying. I'm like, man, where can I even go? There's like a bunch of places underground in the main building, I think.
Goodbye.
But hey, we got our chase in the bag. And I think it was even the obsession, right? Of course, if they hit us with a thing, they become the obsession. And if they get away, here's the real fun thing. If they get away, we get a token that makes us run faster. So it's almost like advantageous to let them get away from you sometimes. I mean, not to let them get away. But sometimes, like, if you know you can't catch them, like, you can twirl away from them really quick, right? We're gonna zoop downstairs here. Nope. And while I have this undetectable attack again, like, normally they can just hear me coming, but they can't. I'm so good at throwing hatchets. I'm so good at throwing them at you. Alright, that's our second hook on that Lara. We don't want to tunnel her particularly, right? We're just gonna give her some space and try to catch this new obsession, whoever unhooks her. I mean, ideally, we'd always be chasing the obsession. I'm like, I missed! This is terrible! Clean. So there, I knew the path she was gonna take. That's a very small tile, and if she was going to try to evade me by backing over, she's either going to go around the side, or she was going to go around either. And either way, it was right there. Like, there's very, very few places to run when she's in that position. And that's just the sort of thing you have to do. Like, playing as killer in Dead by Daylight, alright, so Laura dies. No one gets her off in time. She might have gave up. She might not have. Unimportant overall. Map is this? It's called the Forgotten Ruins. I don't know who. All the maps are assigned to like a specific killer. I don't know if this one is assigned to like an old one or if it's just like, because the knight is where the map used to be. He's like a medieval evil guy. There's like a cool eclipse in the sky. Very awesome. So there, again, like, not as easy as it looks, but not like super hard. All right, so she has a thing, that horse icon means that they're much better at struggling and quicker at doing it. So you gotta make sure that you get them hung up there. The thing about ranged weapons is they are just devilishly difficult for opponents to deal with. They're very hard to figure out how you're gonna deal with it. Yeah, so like the knight, they call him a knight. I think he's like, the lore is he's like an Italian mercenary guy, but you know, he's like a bad dude, you know. So what we're doing now is chasing Laura, and she doesn't know. She doesn't know what's gonna happen, right? We're gonna chase her, and they're gonna fix the generator while we chase her, and then we're gonna down her, and we're gonna be able to execute her. It's gonna be sick. So this is what it's all about, right? I had her. She was right here. Where'd she go? Oh my god, I lost her. I was this close. There she is. Okay. And now we're going to be able to pop right in on her. And now, boys and girls, avert your eyes if you're squeamish, because we're going to do the kill. I don't know what it looks like, but this is the execution. We do a little stab. Oh, and then we've got a very gruesome spinning wheel device to send her into. And there we go. If you play Rancor, so that's like, that's the core of Rancor, right? You charge around, and if at the end you feel like they're about to kind of get away, you let them finish the last gen, and you get your final kill, right? And I just think I think it's a really fun way to play, because again, it's based on a sort of roulette thing. Because when you start the match, normally the obsession doesn't go around. But if you use these other perks, it does. So all of them, depending on who they hook, who they unhook, whether or not they bonk you on the head or blind you, they have you know, the equal chance of being attacked.
Time.
Alright, so I think it's just doing any of the things. It's like automatically finishing all of them, even if I don't have them tracked, so that's good. But anyway, we're just gonna keep on playing. I'm having a good old time. I don't think we need to read any of the inboxes. So I put my face up really close. They're like, jump scare. Yeah, I was like, yeah, we gotta see what's going on. But yeah, but that's you know, that's an obsession build, and we're gonna do another one because I actually really like obsession builds. They're one of my favored ways to play the game, and depending on the killer you're doing, they might actually have like some link to that also, like So, front of the club said, "Yes, Melissa, I actually am having fun playing a game. Crazy." But I used to play just so much Dead by Daylight. So, you know, the queues, they're not super long, right? But there's a bit of time. So this is when I read One Piece a couple of years ago. I'm so behind. I need to turn off this dang stream and read One Piece and catch up. But anyway, I'm not going to do that right now. I am going to turn off the stream sometime because I need to run to the store and buy French bread because I did not make it myself because I was playing video games. But yeah, I would play Dead by Daylight with, you know, like with my free time, you know, when I wasn't at work. And then in the queue, I would have, you know, I would have One Piece, and I would be reading One Piece until my match started, and then I would go and play Dead by Daylight and then go over. But I was so into this game, so I had what, like 620 hours, something like that. But for a bit where so I was, you know, I was talking to people online on the subreddit and stuff, and I was arguing with people about, you know, who was good, who wasn't, what made a killer good, you know, like what metrics you could analyze, you know, the data that was available from the developer, you know, normal human behavior when you're into a game. And then I was like, you know, for myself, I want to figure out how good I am at this stuff. So I made it a Google Doc spreadsheet of all of my killers and, you know, how many times I played them, what the match results were, and that kind of thing. And, you know, Ed logged several hundred different matches and, you know, had results that were interesting to me. It turned out that compared to what other people were saying about their matches, I was doing dramatically better than most people were, so yeah. But like there'd be these killers and they would say they were weak, and I'd be like, I don't know, I win all the time. I just think maybe you don't know how to throw a hatchet over a pallet, bro. And then, you know, of course, as you know, nothing is more invigorating to reasoned response than saying, perhaps it is an issue with your level of skill. All right. Queue is up. We've got a Lara Croft. We've got two Lara Crofts. We've got a Nia Carlson, that's an original character, and Dwight Fairfield, he's another original character. Dwight is a perennial favorite of people. So, like, there are, of the immediately available characters, there's just like a handful, and then, you know, there's the unlockable ones, because of course there's, you know, a bunch of monetization or grindiness in the game. But there's like sort of like stereotypes, you know, about like what kind of player a Claudette is, or what kind of player a Dwight is, you know, and that kind of thing. But Dwights are beloved characters. All right, Thompson House. So this is a nice cornfield, which is a real good thing for me. It's better for Huntress. This is like one of my favorite matches as Huntress. Well, it's okay. The main house is terrible. You don't want to mess with it. But we're going to zoop upstairs here just to see if they're trying to get on this one. Because as an undetectable person, you have, you know, the ability to go places that other people would find improbable. Like right there, she did not know I was behind her because, oh yeah, when you're working on generators, yoink. Anyway, all up in her face. She was trying to style on me. So you can throw a pallet down, and then before they can break it, you can jump underneath it and then like go underneath their arms. But, you know, that was the day she almost caught Captain Jack Sparrow. But I like the cornfield because it's a bunch of wide open spaces, and that's great for chasing because you can see, you know, other people doing their thing as you're going around. Maybe reevaluate, you know, what you're doing, that kind of thing in light of the new information. Yeah, indoor maps I hate because, you know, they're much more survivor focused or favored in my opinion. They're not really, but they're less favored for my level of play. All right, so there's one of them right over here.
You will submit.
All right, this is actually the same Nia that we hit earlier. Oh yeah, they have decisive strike us. We're gonna let her go. First of all, that's an awesome move to take. What killers for this map? This killer is called Hillbilly. He's an original killer. He's a chainsaw killer. So Leatherface, the one from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you know, he's got a chainsaw, but his he zoops it around in front of him. He waves it around and screams. The Hillbilly charges very, very fast. If either of them hit you with a chainsaw, you get instantly downed, right? But they operate in very different ways, whereas like Leatherface sort of moves faster and faster but can't go that far. The Hillbilly can go like all the way across the map, but his will overheat eventually. In the community, Hillbilly is often just called Billy. So close. So there, he took a basically straight line path that had no hope of getting away from me if I stayed on it, which he's doing right now too. Like, he can't get away. He's gonna try to juke me here, but there's nowhere to juke. There's nowhere to jump, and we're just gonna get him like so. They are right behind me. They do have flashlights, so if they come up with a flashlight, you can just sort of look down really quick. You don't get blinded unless they get you for like a few moments. And look, I'm not trying to tunnel this Nia, right? But if I see her again, we'll go for it. Gotta go maybe. Well, thanks for hanging out, Evan. I do appreciate the company. If you do like to play Dead by Daylight yourself, it is a lot of fun, but beware of the monetization practices. They're not like super predatory, but they are very present. I've spent like a bunch of money on Dead by Daylight. More than I would have spent if the game cost, you know, $50. Which it doesn't. It's cheaper than that, but, you know. Of course, it makes sense, you know. You're like, oh, well, what are they going to do? They got to pay for the license for the guy from Halloween, after all. But, you know, I just... for the old man speech, you know, you feel like in gaming... in all avenues of art, but like, you know, like people always want something from you, right? It's never... That was a clean shot over the top of the boulder. Oh my god, so good! Get wrecked, Dwight. Never should have come here. Alright, that's a hook on him and a hook on Nia. She's going for the rescue. We'll let her get it. Also, we'll get a move speed token. So after the first move speed buff, we do move like the normal killer speed. Which is, play with your food is really great. We do lose the tokens when we use our power. Which just makes it all the more important to not miss, right? So that was like a bad choice, right? Because I knew the pattern of the tile. But they are better than I am. However, they've also blinded me, which means if they finish this last generator while I'm chasing them, and I get a hit... Because that's the thing about how this works, right? Like, they're going to try to blind me, so we want to just keep our back to them until we want to get over here.
It will end soon.
Alright, so they're gonna get the other Nia, and they're gonna heal, but all I have to do is chase them, and then I will have what I desire most, an awesome Rancor late game kill. Because right now, a ranged attack or a melee attack will get her down, and she doesn't know that she'll die when I get her, except right now, when she's about to find out. Steel yourself for the kill! Glorious power! Glorious. And anyway, that is the most fun you can have in a game of Dead by Daylight, is an Obsession Rancor build and having it work out near the end. It's so awesome. It's just the coolest way to play. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're from, as long as you play Rancor. There we go. You said you didn't expect me to close the screen. That I thought it would be funny. You know, what are you gonna do? And Dwight just took the level, like the very low level Dwight effects. He might be like a new player for all we know. I doubt it though. Not like a super new player. Maybe he's just not prestiged. So people will sometimes like make, you know, Smurf accounts or whatever. But if they bring flashlights, they're not new. Nobody brings a green flashlight if they're new because... Alright, so how the items and everything work is you get they're called blood points in the map. You have this blood web. So in here you spend the various stuff on the perks to unlock it. When you get to level 50, it's called a prestige level. When you get there, you unlock those perks for all of your characters, which we're going to do right now. at level 1. And we're gonna save the other ones. So now the other ones in their webs, they'll be able to unlock those at the higher levels. So each character, like my favorite characters that I have, you know, so Sadako, the Unreal, at level 3, she's got her abilities that she comes with. Floods of Rage, Call of Brine, Merciless Storm. And because she's level 3, all of my characters have access to her abilities at maximum level. But because before Springtrap here was level 1, we wouldn't have been able to do that with them. And we're just going to... We ran out of our puddings. The items you get can affect the amount of points you get at the end of the match as well. Yes, indeed. Glorious power. But yeah, so yeah, this is Dead by Daylight, and I like it. Springtrap is... Look, this is a cool killer. Not least because I can travel through the doors, but they can too. And I don't think any other killer... There's like a clown who throws like potion bottles at people, essentially. And those clouds can make people run faster. But in general, there's nothing to make people quicker, in general. Or to help them go from one side of the map to the next. There's nothing like that generally. So for this guy to have that, plus a ranged attack, which is awesome. He's a little slower, but being able to go from one side of the map to the next is just perfect. Especially for a guy like me. Like, I don't like camping a hook, and I like basically letting them get somebody off, you know, like that to me seems fine, you know, throw them on the hook, get right back to it. So if I can just jump to the whole other side of the map and put pressure on there, that's perfect. And then I'm corralling them over. And then if I'm away from the hook for 20 seconds and I happen to be around whenever someone gets there, that's fine. I just don't want to sit there and, you know, wait there with a hatchet, like, because this character would be really, really good at camping hooks probably, but that's like, it's not where I want to be. That's not... Now, everybody, when you play a game that's against other people, you have to decide how you want to play, right? In a shooter like Call of Duty or, you know, like a game where you're dueling 1v1 like Street Fighter, you know, there's somewhat of a, don't do so many fireballs, but you got to figure it out. But here, because it's asymmetrical, because they're the survivors and I'm the killer, I have so much control over like how the tempo of a match is going to go, over whether or not we're all going to have a good time. Because I don't play Survivor, like, basically ever. Of my 600 some odd hours, probably less than 20 or 30 playing Survivor by myself, although I've played, like, with friends a bunch. Mainly my Survivor play was just to try to get achievements, right? That's all I care about. The game keeps adding more Steve achievements. I have, like 160 of them, but they keep on adding more. I was so close to having them all. I have 202, and there's 279. No, I definitely think I want to start playing Dead by Daylight for streaming and stuff a little bit more. Because I really enjoy it, even though there's queues, you know, I can always find times to talk to myself. Hey, Minikaman, we are playing Dead by Daylight. This is Springtrap. Say hello to Springtrap, everybody. I don't know if you know who he is. I think Five Nights at Freddy's is very famous. But he's the new killer in Dead by Daylight, and he's who we're playing as today. And we got seeded to a match. Excellent. So is Freddy the bear? And probably. Freddy Fazbear, so yeah, you know. Harvey Kane. I don't know her. She looks very, very heavy metal. Let's see, say you think they found the problem in your calculator. Awesome. But yeah, I think this will probably be the last match for the stream. Because if I don't, then I'm going to have ramen for dinner without bread. And I very much like having bread. Now, some people think, why would you have bread and ramen? Well, you can dip the bread in the ramen. I get like it's like a 14-ounce loaf of French bread, and I get like half of it. I just break it in half, you know, like a gentleman would, and then you can dunk it in there. You can also tear off pieces and dunk it in. I usually do that because otherwise, like, what if you slip? What if you slip and drop your whole half of a loaf in? You'd have to eat the other half of the loaf. But anyway, please let me into the match. We killed our music too soon. There's a tooltip. It's like, survivors tend to run with a plan. They don't, though. Alright, so we're here in the elementary school. This is from Silent Hill, and this is one of my least favorite levels in the whole game. It's got these long hallways. It's got multiple floors that they can run in and out of. It's got lockers that aren't really lockers. I hate this level. Clean. Super clean. It also can be kind of hard to find hooks here. Yeah, so, you know, they've got the central courtyard with the weird chains and stuff because, you know, Silent Hill. But I mean, it's an alright level. I don't like it. A player that's a lot better than you can really, really annoy you here. There's some killers that it's wonderful on. There's one called Nurse who can teleport. She, like, holds her breath and, like, zoops. She can go up or down floors or through walls with it, right? And strike right after. And she's amazing here for reasons that are probably obvious to you, right? Because if you don't care about the wall and you can just, like, go straight downstairs there, that's great. But I can't. And I have to try to figure out how to go down. That Meg's the name of the character too, Meg Thomas. It's, yeah. And she had Sprint Rush, which is her, like, default thing. Clean. Alright, so she delayed us, but she went outside the door, so we're gonna get her right back here again, right? She ran this way? Nope, she lost me. Curses. She's still inside here. In this corner? Yes. She'll have to go right. And she won't be able to get away because you can never, ever get away when it's like that. But she did still spend a lot of time. So that's the thing, right? As a survivor, if the killer has your attention, what you need to do is just not get hit early, right? Because the longer you keep their attention, the longer your friends... You know, they can finish their tasks. They can set up totems to do what they want. They can work on gens, you know, do all of that. Because if you are just, like, getting hit 10 seconds into a chase, like you see some people get hit, or, you know, eating a hatchet and then getting downed immediately, you will slow your whole team up so much. Sometimes they hide in lockers. If they do, and you get them, you'll be able to just immediately grab them, like whenever I catch them. See here, I don't think we're gonna, yep, there we go. All right, so one of them, we were in the right spot. I don't think they're in the locker. It would really be embarrassing if they were. But of course, and that's the fun thing though about the obsession build, is no matter how bad of a time you're having, if you just stick on somebody, especially at the end when you know they're about to finish, and like get on your obsession, you could get a kill. A dramatic, amazing kill. I don't know if we're gonna get one this time. So what you see right now, like this is where I go wrong here. Like now I've spent like 30 seconds not only not seeing someone, not even knowing what direction I need to walk in to get to them. This is Steve Harrington, made famous by some television show, I think. So now we get to take them to the basement. Now, we don't camp, but the basement is an excellent place to camp. So if you're the trapper, you can put bear traps on the ground. If they step in them, you know, they get stuck, or you can grab them or whatever. And if you're any of the other number of killers that are really good at camping, if you get people into the basement and you, like, really stick on it, you can turn it into a win, like a strong, strong win. They're in this, aren't they? Yes! Ha got her. So, like I said, even if they're at full health, if you catch them slipping like that, it don't matter none. Because if you're just like, wait, where did they go? Why do I not see them anymore? You know, trust your instincts. Maybe, you know, maybe trust your instincts. So Steve's in the basement. If they don't rescue him super soon, he's going to die. So we're going to get on the way there to cut off anyone from doing it, because this doesn't count as camping. We weren't there the whole time. We downed and hooked somebody. They left him there. He's gonna get popped. There's no way. Yeah, there we go. It's like, I think they're working on that one. This is the one in the courtyard. They are not working on this one. Alright, so they're healing instead. That is good. That is smart. Of course, unlike a normal killer, I can just go right back and forth to where we need to be. Oh, how'd I miss that? I even leaned forward in real life. Look, once you lean forward in real life and it doesn't work, it's like, look, I've exhausted all of my video game abilities, right? I literally don't even know how to do something more than that. We're gonna go to the courtyard where I think they will be trying to finish the very last one, like right now. Nope. They're outside right now. I heard their feet. Where'd they go? Aha! Up there! But how? Alright, so now we either try to get these downs or just keep on chasing her, because if they finish the last... And that is not as easy as it looks, but it is awesome. So that's a drop dash lunge. No, it's just a lunge. But so when a survivor falls from a height like that, they get staggered a little bit. So if you know where they're falling at and you fall and you hold your button down, then you can dash and lunge into them and get the hit. If not, then you won't get them once you hit the ground. So it's sort of a medium risk, high reward hit. And they just messed up a skill check on this gen, which means I'm on them. And they don't even know I'm here, right? Right. They're right here. They're not. It was worth a shot. This is so much better than walking on that. I mean, of course you lose the chance to see people while you're working on it, but whoever needed that anyway. And of course, because we're teleporting around, they can't see us. They can't hear our beautiful voice. Also, we have like it's called the red stain, I think, and it's like you can see where they're looking, but you can't see where we're looking. Alright, so here we're chasing Figman, but we need her out of our sight for a second so we can get this token. This is advanced play with your food. The name of it is play with your food, and it's exactly how you have to do it, right? So now we're in the chase again. Now here we're going to look sideways, not down the hall where we're running, and we'll lose the chase again, another 10% movement speed. Oh yeah. Because again, like, when you get to 15%, which we're going to get right now because we're going to lose this chase again, when we kick this and then we look down so that we don't keep on, now we are quick. We are a quick boy, and she is not going to be able to keep getting away from us. We could have probably hit that dash, but we want the Rancor, right? We want them to finish. We want the Rancor. And there we go. Clean, right over the top. Again, not an easy hit to make, but let's make the kill. Look away if you're easily disturbed. The glory, the power, the agony. You know, all of that. Raw. But yes. And they've already got their doors almost opened. There we go. So a nice clean little fight. We get our obsession executions. That's basically, this is my favorite build. You know, sometimes the very, like, one of these will be different, but you always want Rancor and you always want Nemesis. And you usually want play with your food because, like, attack speed is just very excellent. But yeah, but that's Springtrap, you know. There we go. That's what he looks like, guys. You teleport around, you throw an axe, you shriek at people. But yeah, there you go. Alrighty then. Yep. But yeah, that's all I've got for you right now. I'm gonna go to the store and buy some bread. I'll probably be on in like an hour or so to play some Minecraft or something to round out the day. But anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you've enjoyed. Bye, Melissa. Bye, Evan. Bye, Minikman. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Say next one should be like Xenomorph or Demogorgon. I don't have either of those, but I do have enough of the in-game currency to where I can get one already. But probably Xenomorph because that's super cool. But I might actually get Dracula because he's in it, and I love Castlevania. It's like the Dracula from Castlevania, so I was also eyeing him as a potential one. But the next Dead by Daylight stream that we do, we'll probably do, you know, more variety of killers. Not Survivor because it sucks and it's the worst. Unless you guys like really want to see me do bad at one. But anyway, see you everybody. Thanks for chilling, and hope you've enjoyed this little Springtrap release party. But Melissa, good luck with your calculator, and yeah, maybe I'll see you guys in a later stream or video.